Yeah, once again we're back.
Okay, it's rolling.
Oh, Willis. Actually, what was your first rap?
Oh,
Rap
man,
song that you wrote?
Don't ask me what my first one was. I can't really remember what my first one was. I remember though that I had started writing. Let's see, when I first heard rap, it came out here about 3 or 4 years late. And then all of a sudden everybody was getting into to all the old stuff, you know. The weird thing about Phoenix is that for the stuff that comes out of New York or Chicago or LA, no matter how close we are to some places, we was still on the late train, you know. There are certain areas in Arizona though that get stuff almost as quick as it comes out, you know, and the only problem with that sometimes is that it gets overpopulated with everybody else's thing, and a lot more people are out there buying this stuff, and they really want, you know, they have that drive to create, but they just let it sit and fizzle out. And with me, it's always been, you know, the need to create. Whether I create or co-create stuff, you know, like I might take a term or something from somebody and turn it into something my own. You know, add a little bit of my stuff in there. It's all a mix. But the deepest one that I ever wrote concerning hip hop was this one song. I guess it was like a spinoff of Frank Sinatra. Yeah, it was like a spinoff of Frank Sinatra. It was I did it my way, you know.
Yeah, that's what you was telling me.
Doing it my way. It's like, it started long ago, back in '79 when I was 9 years old. Curtis Blow was ripping it up, and Grandmaster Flash was the king of the cuts. It was the beginning that I could foresee that rapping up on the mic was my destiny. And when I think about all the people that said it wouldn't work, I think about it now and I just have to smirk, because I remember people saying that hip-hop would die and I'd never have a chance to give it a try. But I still broke out my pen and created rhymes. Some folks wasn't down with my ideas, and some was, you know. And others just said, get out of here. But I said, that's okay. You know why? Because I'm doing it my way. And that was the real funky thing about it, was that I was always doing something my way, you know. I'd be singing a serious song in a silly way or something, you know. I'd take something that had this deep, dark meaning to it, you know, something that was topical, and I'd just butcher it to death, you know. And mostly I do that with my own stuff. I do that with the stuff that I write. I got stuff that covers one extreme to the other. You know, like I said, I'm a lyricist, and the whole thing for me being a lyricist was that I didn't want to stick with just one thing. You know, I want to cover as many different bases as I can with my lyrics. You know, I've got stuff where I'm talking about, you know, people dealing with sexual situations, you know, whether it was like incest or molestation, and then I got other songs, you know, talking about recovering alcoholism and recovering alcoholics, and stuff about, you know, that I write on. And sometimes I'm like a storyteller in a way, I guess. And I try to make some kind of character, you know, and come up with some kind of feelings. Like, how would I feel if I was, you know, this, that, or the other thing? What would I see? You know, and that's the time that I come up with some really deep, disturbing, questionable, objectionable kind of stuff. You know, everybody's gonna translate everything their own way.
That's why we mainly came up with the name. He mainly came up with the name Universal Knowledge. Mainly, I did a lot of love songs, mainly a lot of poetry of love songs in high school. And actually, I do remember my first song.
This
I
was
made.
Mr. Leatherman.
Yes, that's why they call me Jay Smooth. It's just the fact, the name of it was, I know it's going to sound pretty awkward, it was called Making Love to Armadillo. So, I don't want to describe that right now. My brother, if he sees this, he'll be laughing about it.
Don't think it's
But
anything beast.
I'm really glad. This is like a universal thing. It's like, you know, East meets West. We both bring our minds together, you know, and collaborate.
Or at least
And it's
East
just like, you know,
Southwest.
Yeah. Same thing, regardless. Though, you know.
Not really, man.
It's just like getting into a vegetable soup bowl and just blending, you know, even though Willie D is not here right now to, you know, perhaps speak up on his behalf. Yeah, and pretty much like Willis was saying, you know, pretty much controlling your own obstacles, being in control of everything, like producing, writing, performing, also arranging. I pretty much learned a lot. Coming from a sheltered town, I learned how to play different instruments too. Even on those cold nights, I used to always wonder, was it worth it? But it really was, you know, in the long run. Because like a lot of time, like Willis was saying, we usually have like riders. And if we're not able of writing, which we do continuously write a lot, if we're not writing, we're either making beats or, you know, doing something pretty much, or trying to come up with something new to work on.
Something that's associated with the whole thing, you know? Because it's not something that's easy. And from square one, though, the greatest thing about this group is that we're spontaneous. You know, I mean, this man's come up with some stuff that I like so much, and I keep pushing him, you know, and then we get to perform it, and it's like, bam, all of a sudden I can remember some of the words, and I'm doing backup for him, you know, and that was the kind of thing, I mean, we've gone through so much that we look at our writing styles, and a lot of times they're quite similar. But I'm a little daddy strange, you know, so I gotta always come up with something awkward or offbeat or something that no, I didn't think anybody else could do. Like a little daddy strange. You know what I mean? I come up, call people names that just pretty much strange stuff.
No, that's good though, yeah, because we do have two different production companies, three actually, including Willie D, you know. He has Jam Master Productions. Willis here, has Buddha Tat Productions.
It's Buddha Cat, MLGOP, which stands for Mad Lyrical Genius of Phoenix, and Crazy Willis. Crazy Willis, the PK. PK is Preacher's Kid. Don't think it's a gang terminology.
Actually, yes, speaking of gangs, you know, a lot of people claim that. That's one thing Universal Knowledge will never claim. It's just that, yeah, we do write lyrics a lot continuously, in which a lot of so-called gangster rappers out there stating that they are, which you know they aren't. That's why if we do tell a story, it will be like message conscientious, you know. It pretty much elaborates around, you know, social life, daily things that we usually hear about. Everybody else always want to kill one another and stuff like that there. Or, you know, how many albums can you usually be, you know, you know, definitely a killer.
That's the funny thing about it too, you know, is that that there are some people and it seems like that's all they do. You know, makes you think that they ain't ever had a good day. Exactly. I know they had a good day if they got paid. You know, exactly. If they got paid, you got a good day. You know, but I mean, I write songs where it has some violent content in there too, but it's not just blatant violence or what some people would think is just the same old repetitive kind of thing. And I write stuff, you know, like gang stories kind of stuff too, because at one time I was in that, and then I take from the experience of me being in it to turning around and looking at what's going on now, you know. And I mean, I'm proof that if you put your mind to it, or sometimes even when you don't think about it, sometimes you end up changing, you know.
Regardless, that's
and
true.
It's not necessarily a negative thing like a lot of people want it to be. A lot of people think, you know, hey, oh, once upon a time, you know, you was Mr. Hard, you had all these things that was going on, and
Now look at you. Yeah.
and now look at you. You know, you're soft, you're weak, whatever. You know, you ain't running out there ripping no more. You ain't stealing, and you ain't serving no more. And it's like,
That's why, yep,
you
the
know,
best thing.
I don't seem.
Stay true to yourself.
As far as I know, I'm the last member of a gang that expanded quite seriously. And we couldn't even consider being a gang. It was more like a crazy boys club, you know. We'd run around and do some psychotic stuff, man. Yeah, you know. But I saw friends of mine dying off, and some of them like died right in front of me, you know, and I've seen them die from the effect of some drug that was laced or something like that, or, you know, just drinking too much, or a combination of all stuff that they could use, and, or, you know, I mean, it's just, it was getting weird, man. I couldn't, my mind, once I got separated from certain places that I was in, my mind started evolving, I guess, you know. And I figured that the thing that I still had was my writing. I still had my music writing. I write short stories, I write poems. Worked on publishing a book, but that fell through. You know, I'm constantly, I'm Mr. Creative, because I gotta keep doing something, you know. And even though I love the job that I'm currently working with, I work with disabled kids, and I love kids a lot and stuff, you know. And I love the kids that we help.
And a lot
and
of
it
times,
has,
like you was telling me, you know, a lot of times you show them a lot of your poetry and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean,
because you always
I
get
got
an
so
honest
many
opinion
kids
from the
back
kid,
then.
because they'll tell you, you know,
they sure
exactly
will. The kids
what
are
is
the
good,
most
what isn't
honest
good,
people
so,
on this earth,
that's
practically. You know, they ain't gonna be smooching. You know, hey man, nah, it is really good. I like that. Yeah, right. Not. But these kids, I mean, they're waiting for the album to come out. They can't wait. They keep bugging me. You know, the sad thing is, I told them, you know, the only problem is if it takes off, you know, I gotta change priorities. And the thing is, I'd like to still stay close with some of them, because when it boils down to it, they are, they're considered special, and in a lot of ways they are, because people claim that, you know, these kids are abnormal and all this other stuff. And hell, I mean, I was a foster kid whose mind was like the mad genius rolling around here. I was like treated that way. I was treated like I was abnormal and just born to be dysfunctional, but everybody said that it was me. And because I didn't do things like everybody else does. And these kids have things, I mean, it's just incredible. And when you take into consideration that life has all kinds of strange values to it, you know, I mean, sometimes you realize that you take things for granted. I probably, if it wasn't for these kids, I probably still wouldn't be around right now, because I look at their situations, you know, yeah, you know, I mean, look at their situations and say, you know, damn, these kids got to struggle probably about 100 times more than I do, you know, throughout their lives, because they're constantly minorities, you know. I mean, so I look at the challenges that they're going to have to face through life. Some get it easy though, but that's rare, you know. Some of it is, it just depends on not only them, but what the family's going through and all that stuff. I've seen kids jumped around, and I had been jumped around for a while too. I thought I was a pinball or something, you know, when I was in the system.
Hold it for a minute.
Everything low.
No, my arm's getting low. Yeah. Sorry, Larry.